But there always has to be a balance. So when we talk about unmasking the dark side of processed foods, well, let's talk about the nutrition. So with this processing, the manufacturing process often involves heating, drying, and various treatments of the food to put it in a form that is ready for preservation, ready for storage. And when we heat food and I'm not talking about just heating food like you cook at the house, right? So when you cook at the house, the temperature when we cook food at the house, the temperature that we use to cook the food is just enough for us to process that food here, get the meat denatured, to get the rice cooked and so forth. So we use a certain temperature. When we're talking about processing, the temperatures that they use to be able to dry and transform and put food in a certain form, right? So essential vitamins like vitamin C, right? Some of the B vitamins, all of those, and some of the minerals are boiled out, heated out, baked out, right? All of those. And so now the food doesn't have that nutrient, or it's not as nutrient rich. Let me say it that way. The refining process, woes. So we take whole grain, and we're gonna do a whole show on grain. We take whole grain and we refine it, and we produce items like white bread, white rice. The process of refining that, though, strips out a lot of the nutrients from it, right? So the layers, right? Because what we're doing is we're basically polishing the rice. We take a rice and we polish it and we take off a lot of the nutrients, a lot of the layers that's there, and it leads to a significant reduction in the fiber, right? The amount of fiber that's there, the vitamins, the minerals, and then over time, relying heavily on that. If that's all I'm eating, then I don't get from that food the things that I need, right? I don't get those vitamins. I don't get the fiber. So when you eat rice, let's say you eat white rice, the fiber that would have been in it is gone. And so then what we do is we take that food, we process it. In the processing, we are refining it, and that process strips out some of the nutrients and vitamins and minerals and fiber from it. And so then now we take that food and we go back and we enrich it. Yeah. So we put back into it what we took out of it. And that sounds like a great idea, because we want to make the food better. Let's assume we had to do the refinement. It did what it did to the food. It stripped it, and now we are trying to make it better. And some of the manufacturing enrichment processes, the products that we use and that we add back in, this sounds like a good idea, but it might not be a good idea. It might not be a great idea. Is the stuff we're adding back more bioavailable? Are we putting too much? Is it the natural form? It can lead to potential discrepancies in how we absorb it and ultimately how our body uses it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then preservatives, the processing of the food. We're trying to make the food last longer on the shelf. Now, can I? Oh, should I do that? Am I gonna get in trouble? I don't know. We're gonna say it anyway. So I went to a friend of mine. Said, hey, go to the store and you can get turkey salami. All right, turkey salami. So I went. Yes, I did. Went. She said, oh, this is so good. So I went and I was looking for this salami, and so I went to the freezer part. Right? Because I figured, salami is going to be in the cold cut section in the freezer part. And they did have some there. But I'm walking down and I was getting some other stuff, and I passed by the aisle with paper plates and plasticware. And right on, the end cap where they show that they have food and stuff, and I saw there was a whole end cap full of turkey salami, right? And so I go to the manager and I said to him, hey, I was looking for some turkey salami and I saw that you had some over there in the freezer part, right? Where they have the cold cuts. And he said, yeah. I said, but I also noticed that you have some right here at the end cap. And he said, yeah. I said, how? Why? How could you do that? He said, well, this right here doesn't need to be refrigerated. I said, what? It doesn't need to be refrigerated? He said, no. You know, he said when they processed it, they've processed it to the point where the meat does not have to be refrigerated. That's all I'm saying. Well, no, that's not all I'm saying. So the processing of the food, while it allows us to store it, it allows us to do all kinds of stuff, transport it. Yeah, what do you have to do to meat to process it to the point where it doesn't have to be stored? Now, you know, there's all kinds of other things that have been done in the past. For instance, you know, jerky and so forth. That we've had that for years, and that's not in the storage section either, right? And that's how a lot of people in the past preserved meat, right? They made jerky out of it and so forth. Yeah. All right. So the dark side is what we're talking about. The dark side of processed food.